Hello, my name is Derek Cross. I am a student at Colorado State University Global Campus within the Ops 510 Operations Management course under the instruction of Dr. Melinda Hollingshed. This presentation is a discussion of supply chain management and includes analysis of a simulated case study. Let's discuss the purpose and structure of this presentation. The purpose of this presentation is to explore supply chain management and analyze a simulated case study. We will begin by defining what supply chain management is and discuss why it is an important component of successful organizations. We will then look at a brief overview of the simulation and its goal before discussing the model and strategy used in the simulated supply chain management scenario. We will then analyze the methods and techniques used throughout the simulation and compare the results to the stated goal before looking at the lessons learned and the conclusions we can draw about supply chain management as a result. First, we need to answer the following question. What is supply chain management? In their book, Operations Management, Sustainability, and Supply Chain Management, Heiser et al. Define supply chain management as the coordination of all supply chain activities, starting with raw materials and ending with a satisfied customer. Supply chain activities include suppliers, manufacturers and service providers, as well as distributors, wholesalers, and retailers. Coordination within supply chain partnerships can improve innovation, shorten time to market for new products, and reduce overall costs. When done collaboratively, effective supply chain management can result in improved levels of competitiveness for all partners involved. Supply chain management is a critical piece of operations. When properly structured and managed, the supply chain benefits both buyers and suppliers. Through activities such as sharing sales and cost information, profit can increase for both parties. The supply chain can also increase an organization's competitiveness, offering more options for product customization, better quality, reduced cost, and a faster time to market. It also helps organizations form long-term strategic relationships that turn suppliers into valued partners. This distinction implies a partner that enhances contribution to the overall competitive advantage of an organization. Let's take a brief look at the simulated case study. For this simulation, we were acting as a supply chain analyst working on a contract basis for AJ Manufacturing, an organization that manufactures gizmos. Another firm, Munson & Witt Incorporated, has placed an order for 25,000 gizmos to be delivered over a one-year period. The delivery schedule was built so that 20% of the total order would be delivered in Q1, another 20% would be delivered in Q2, 30% would be delivered in Q3, and the remaining balance would be delivered before the end of Q4. To build each gizmo, AJ Manufacturing needs 1 unit of a SKU 1 part and 4 units of a SKU 2 part. During the simulation, we would experience issues like delayed deliveries, renegotiation of bids, and a fluctuating customer morale that depended on our performance for the fiscal quarter. The goal of the simulation was to deliver the 25,000 gizmos according to the delivery schedule and to stick to a $1 million procurement budget. In order to accomplish these goals, let's take a look at the approach used to manage the supply chain in the simulated case study. To accomplish our goals, we settled on the following approach. First, we created a table of all available suppliers and found the total cost per unit of each SKU at each price break level. We would then allocate enough parts to the highest rated supplier to reach the maximum price break tier, then do the same for the next highest rated supplier, and so on. This ensured that we were getting the cheapest per unit cost from the best suppliers. Once we met our quota for the quarter, we would qualitatively balance the order quantities between suppliers to assure that we had a 2 to 3 week buffer between the last delivery and the end of the fiscal quarter to account for manufacturing time, delivery delays, or other unforeseen issues. When doing this, we ensured that we were still reaching the maximum price break tier for each supplier. Then, we would compute the percentage of the budget used by this order and compare it to the percentage of the total gizmos order these parts would complete. If we were coming out ahead, as in our Q3 example where we were using 29% of the budget to fulfill 30% of the order, we would then submit the order. A worked out example of this approach can be found in Appendix A. Let's look at a few other methods and techniques used throughout the supply chain management case study. The first method was getting bids often and from all companies. Information is power, and constant connection with suppliers gives us a better insight into their operations. We would also not have a scheduled review of bids and instead review them one by one as they arrived. If we were to get a good price reduction from a 4 or 5-star supplier, there is no need to wait for 1 or 2-star supplier bids and we can save time. The second method was to only use 1 and 2-star suppliers if absolutely necessary. They may have lower projected cost per unit, but their reputation is poor. Our schedule is already tight and we cannot afford major delays. The final technique used was keeping a buffer time of 2 to 3 weeks. This would allow natural time for small delays, giving us an opportunity to get replacement bids and submit alternative orders. It would also provide us some downtime to collect bids for the next fiscal quarter. So by incorporating all of this information into our supply chain management approach, how well did we perform over the 1-year period? As a reminder, the goal of the simulation was to finish the 1-year period by delivering 25,000 gizmos to Munson & Witt Incorporated and spend less than $1 million on procurement costs. In our case, we delivered all 25,000 gizmos by mid-December and had over $30,000 left in the procurement budget, surpassing expectations for the contract. We achieved the management dream, completing work on time and under budget. We delivered all gizmos with 3 entire weeks to spare and utilized 96.9% of the budget. An expanded set of simulation results can be found in Appendix B. What lessons can we draw from this simulation and the results? This simulation revealed a lot about the bid process from a procurement standpoint. Bids take time to collect that eat into valuable supply chain and manufacturing time. We lost the first 2 weeks of Q1 just waiting for all companies to respond to bid requests. Suppliers who have a fast bidding response process have a huge advantage over those who can take a lot longer to respond. Bids can also have a significant cost. During the simulation, we forgot to factor the cost of bids into our budget and spent more than we projected. In this case, the bids were relatively small in cost in comparison to the size of our budget, but in industries with small profit margins, this could have been a bigger issue. Thirdly, we learned how many bids can contribute to information overload. Updating our mathematical model took a significant amount of time. The simulation was projected to take 20 to 30 minutes to complete, and in our case, it took almost triple that time just from running all of our calculations. Sedig et al. Write that if the information collected is too much or too less than the right amount, managers make wrong decisions and create a situation of uncertainty about the decisions made, or it may delay the decision. And this is something that was definitely present within the simulation. The second lesson was how being adaptable is critical to success. We weren't afraid to change suppliers when necessary, and it paid off in certain situations where trusted suppliers failed us. Finally, we learned that getting ahead of schedule early on has important advantages. We were able to collect extra bids in Q2 and Q3, both of which netted us price decreases from trusted suppliers and allowed us to come in under budget. It also provided us with additional buffer time, which was not used but was a critical factor in finishing the contract 3 weeks ahead of schedule. Now, let's look at some final thoughts on supply chain management after the simulated case study. Supply chain management is a critical piece of successful organizations. It has implications for cost reductions, new product time to market, and competition across the global market. Saviolo and Borney write that the supply chain is much more than a sequence of activities in boxes. It is a value generator as well as a strategic differentiator. Because so much of an organization's revenue is spent on purchases and sourcing, effectively managing the supply chain presents a fantastic opportunity to generate savings and improve profit margins. Further information, such as an example of the supply chain management approach in use and the full results of the simulation, will follow shortly in the appendices. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.